Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome to the very first part of my Let's Play for The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. I don't really want to drag this on too much, because I do want to get started as soon as possible, but I would like to say first and foremost that this Let's Play is an extremely important Let's Play for me, especially this video in particular. This video marks the official beginning of the 10th anniversary of Doomlink, and the Doomlink name itself had its 10th anniversary last year, but this year is the 10th anniversary for me making Let's Play videos, and the reason why this is a very important Let's Play for me to be doing is because the very first Let's Play that I did in March of 2009, I can't remember the exact date, I think it was between the 10th of March and the 20th of March, that's my vague memory of it, but I mean, how many people would be able to remember it that well, you know? I think I've gotten pretty close to the date. I would mark it at around the 15th. It's currently the 11th as I'm recording this, late into the evening of the 11th in fact, and this was indeed the very first game that I did a Let's Play of, so I'm able to finally return to the game now on the Wii U, and I will mention that I have got absolutely no idea how that's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work well, I don't know if it's going to work terribly, but from what I looked into around 2 years ago, it seems that I'm able to play on the Gamepad, whilst also being able to show you everything that's going on my Gamepad on the television, which is very important because I have no way to actually record anything that exists on the Gamepad if it doesn't also exist on the television. The point being that it can actually do a dual display, which means that I can actually show it to you, which is really, really good. I will mention that the last time that I even touched this game would have been around 8 or 9 years ago, so it's going to be very interesting just to launch this game again, to see it again, because it has been a very long time. I suppose we're going to get started here. I will mention that I have not actually launched this game before. I just bought it from the Virtual Console store, so there might be a little bit of troubleshooting to begin with, but that's okay. We'll just see what we can do. I'm going to switch to the Gamepad just so that I can select it here because I don't actually have a controller selected, or sorry, plugged in at all, so I'm just sitting here with the Gamepad. So, to start with, what's on the television now is exactly the same as what's on my Gamepad, I can tell you that much. I'll let you know if there's anything that appears on my Gamepad that's different. For now, once again, it is mirrored. This software represents game content, characters, sounds, etc. of the original games. Okay, well, that is what I would expect. So ZR during gameplay to open the Virtual Console menu. That's interesting. Special features, I don't really know what that means. Now, I do realise that this here looks utterly horrendous. But don't worry, it's not going to look like this for the entirety of the Let's Play. In fact, it's not going to look like this for much longer than a few minutes, if even that. So ZR, let's press that right now, because it is time to change the screen settings. I am controlling everything on my Gamepad right now. So once again, I do have a dual display here. Everything that is on the television right now is visible to me on the Gamepad, and I can interact with it in that way. It's very good. So to start with, I'm going to work out what screen position will work best for me. I definitely don't want... That's terrible. That's terrible. I could have it so that, you know, top screen on the TV, bottom screen on the Gamepad, but of course I want everything to be visible for you guys. So maybe this is going to have to be what I select. I'm not saying that this is going to look amazing. It's really not. It's honestly like an emulating experience here, but yeah. I have an option which says screen smoothing. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Like, what if I turn that on, what does it do? Can I have some sort of description as to what that does? Screen smoothing, is that like anti-aliasing? I don't know. I guess screen smoothing would be the the super simplistic, anyone can understand term for anti-aliasing, but so touchscreen focus will be right-handed, that's fine. Let's just select that and go for it, shall we? That looks like ballsack, but hey, guess what? It's the DS. So what can I say? So is this the bottom screen that's enlarged here? It seems like it. So as you can see, having them side by side is really silly for this particular scene, for the reason that it's supposed to be inclusive of both screens to create one full image. You can see Phantom Hourglass there in the corner. It says, touch the screen. I will mention that the stylus that exists in my hand right now, that's a very strange way to say it, it just exists in my hand, it just happens to be there. No, as it sits in my hand now, it is pretty much the same as the original Nintendo DS stylus, so that's very nice. I'll touch the screen here, and what I might do is actually crop what you're seeing right here in post, so that you can only see the bottom screen. Maybe. We'll see how things go. I really don't know what to do here. But, all I can tell you is that I just don't want to bother with Nintendo DS emulators right now. And it is very, very important that I'm able to make use of full touchscreen functions when playing this game, otherwise it's going to feel like crap. So, I'm not going to be able to play this game on an original Nintendo DS or DS Lite or DSi, etc., and be able to record it without having a camcorder, which I will mention is what I did in my original Let's Play of this game. I had a camcorder above me, well not actually above me, above the DS, and I was above the camcorder, and I was awkwardly it looked fine from the perspective of the camera, but from my perspective it looked like garbage, and it was kind of difficult to play in that way. But at least I could use the touchscreen and all of that. It was not quite the same as using an emulator, and quite frankly, that worked more or less well enough, but I would like to be able to give you guys a bit of a better visual experience than that, and I would say that this is good enough. I'm going to say first and foremost that the colours are a little bit strange on the television right now, and I would say that that has to do with my own personal display. If I do compare the colours right now between my gamepad and what's actually in my capture card software, it's closer than what it is on my TV if I compare them. So what I'm probably going to do is try to get the colours in my game capture software to directly mimic that of what I'm seeing on my gamepad. So I just need to edit through a few graphical settings. Hopefully I don't need to stop the video capture or anything like that. I might need to, but we'll see. I'll be back in just a moment while I get that organised. So, what I'm recording right now, visually, is the closest that I can actually get the colour profile to that of what's on my gamepad, and I would guess that whatever is on my gamepad right now is how the game should look. So, anyway, it looks like utter balls on my TV, but what can I say? You can see that the actual character selection here, well, we only have 2 files, but it has a little hourglass icon in there. This is really exciting. Victoria is the name of my me, which is not actually me, as in ME. It's just an MII, which is not ME, if you understand. Anyway, so I always love saying that because it's very confusing. So we're going to name ourselves Link. Is this name okay? Absolutely. Do you hold the stylus in your right or left hand? Right. Do you use your right hand? Yes, I do. So, our actual character name is Link, obviously. That is just what you name your character when you're playing a Zelda game, as far as I'm concerned. And battle is actually kind of fun. I have played battle mode with people online on the DS. I have got absolutely no idea if you can still do that. It might be possible, but it has been a very long time since I last did that. I used to do it back when the game was new, and I continued to do it a number of years after it had come out as well. Maybe, 4 years after it had come out, something like that. But, regardless, we are going to select Adventure, and we are now being shown the introduction here. It's a similar introduction to that of what we got in Wind Waker, which makes sense because it is intended to be a direct sequel to that of Wind Waker. Which makes sense. Because of course Tetra here is a character from that game, as well as these other pirates. I mean, aside from Tetra, it's not really clear who those other pirates are. But I would like to think that it's very clear who this is. The image looks really good on my gamepad, but it doesn't look quite so good on the TV, and it doesn't look quite so good in terms of what's being recorded. It looks a little bit more pixelated-like, because of the upscaling, of course. But anyway. They are essentially discussing, or, you know, presenting to us the story of Wind Waker in an extremely, I guess, abridged fashion. And this is actually a reasonably good depiction of Ganondorf from that game. Given the art style that they're using, this is perfectly fine. This is actually the shape of Ganondorf's head. So, it's actually really good. And he is that physically big as well. He schemed to take the power and use it for himself. During my original Let's Play, I'm pretty sure that I was just reading this text. Of course, the graphics here could be a little better. Well, I say graphics, I should instead say the drawing could be better. And I was saying positive things about the visual aspect of Ganon, but really, his hands are just not quite so accurately proportionate to the rest of his body. Or at the very least, I mean, even though he has a big body, his hands should be smaller than that. Those proportions are actually pretty reasonable, but he's actually quite disproportionate in reality. Trying to listen to the music because I haven't heard this in a long time. If it makes sense, like, my nostalgia for this is lower than I expected because it's actually been so long that my familiarity is too low for me to really grab onto any nostalgia yet. Not until I actually start moving around on the island will I start feeling nostalgia, sorry. Did you guess that Tetra was really Princess Zelda? Hey Link, are you sleeping, Swabby? Of course, that's Nico. Link. Tetra is looking pretty tanned, as usual. Stop messing around down there. You're both supposed to be on lookout. As you can see, Link is not doing too well on the boat, despite deciding to travel with Tetra and her crew. Huh, some legendary hero you are. Who'd believed you saved me from the evil king? It wasn't just about saving you. I think it's really interesting that they chose to do a direct sequel to Wind Waker on a DS game. It is really weird, and one thing that needs to be said about this game is that it is super underrated, in my opinion. In terms of the experience of sitting down and playing Phantom Hourglass, this is a perfectly legitimate Zelda game, which is actually really fun to play. At least in my opinion. Hey Tetra, they say these seas are protected, yeah? Something about a spirit called the Ocean King? Wouldn't a spirit like that protect the ships? Unless there really is an evil ghost ship. Don't be ridiculous. There's no such thing as a ghost ship. I mean, why wouldn't there be such a thing as a ghost ship, given all the things you've experienced thus far? I was about to call her Zelda, but, you know, I mean, that's technically her name, but I'll call her Tetra as long as she's tanned and wearing those clothes. I'll expose them as a bunch of frauds, and remind them that there are rules to being pirates. I doubt there is really an Ocean King anyway. So about that. Hey look, the air feels chilly, eerie even. I say we take a detour around this creepy place. Quit being so scared. We're here to see the world, not take detours. Ship ahoy. Here's the guy with the stubble, and I can assure you that the pixels are not plentiful enough for you to be able to see even a slight amount of that stubble on his face, at least not from this distance. I do love the design of this ghost ship. I think the biggest thing about recording here on the Wii U is the sound. You should be able to hear really good sound. That is assuming the recording is going well. I did have some problems with the sound and everything. I was having problems with everything while I was getting the recording started, but things seem to be going smoothly for now. It's the ghost ship. These waters really are cursed. I can't really hear the theme that's playing right now, to be honest, because I have the TV relatively low so that I don't get bleed from the game into my microphone, but if it is the ghost ship theme, I do love the ghost ship theme. So I will be happy to at least hear it in post. One thing that is also worth mentioning, because it is a DS game, you can see it has a very, very generic text bubble here. If you really had to fault the game for something, that is one of the things that you would fault the game for. Oh no! Oh, you can actually see his stubble. This guy's like, oh, that's a thing that just happened. Link's eyeballs are about to pop out. Imagine how epic this would be if it were actually on a stationary console like the GameCube. But they decided to put it on a portable console. I don't fault them too much for that, but I can hope, well not hope, I can imagine in my head how much better it would be if it were on the GameCube, but anyway. Needless to say, the graphical differences are like night and day. Wind Waker came out in 2002, this game came out in 2007, and this game looks like absolute ballsack, and Wind Waker by comparison looks like, you know, something that God would have, I don't know, shat out. I was going to make some really, really weird analogy there, as you can probably tell. But, yeah. I abandoned ship really quickly, figuratively speaking. But, that is an appropriate, I guess, metaphor for this game that I'm playing right now. Oh phew, you're awake. The frequency of the sparkling sound that the fairy is making is like 10 times louder than anything else that has been coming out of my TV thus far, so I am slightly worried about sound bleed. But anyway, you weren't moving, so I thought you were done for. But it looks like you're going to be okay. I forgot your... oh, Ciela. Or Ciela. I don't really know how to pronounce her name. I originally called her Ciela, I think, but it could be Ciela, as I read it now. Ciela. I'll just call her Ciela. Or is it Ciela? What do I do, guys? How do I pronounce this? Help. Ciela? I'll call her Ciela. Ciela? We'll call her Ciela. No, that's weird, because that's like S-E-A-L-E-R. I don't know what to do. I'll call her Ciela. That's... Ciela? This bothers me. Let me think. Ciela? 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 Ciela. Let's just call her Ciela. I don't care anymore. I've decided that I don't give a shit. I was out fluttering around and found you here. What happened? Link is having some problems. Of course, he has been washed up on a... well, not necessarily a deserted island, but an island of some description, after having fallen from the ghost ship. Your friend was taken away by a ghost ship? So you were following after her, and you got separated from your own ship, huh? Is it the ghost ship people have been talking about? They say that those it takes are never seen again. Some Ocean King. He obviously hasn't been protecting anyone. You want to know more about the ghost ship? Grandpa will know all about it. I lost my memory a long time ago. When I woke up on this beach, Grandpa rescued me. He's very sweet, so you've got nothing to worry about. Our house is up there, off the beach. Come on. And now to engage in the gameplay. Well, in a moment. Can you walk? Tap the direction you want to move with your stylus. I will do that.